Hello all Form 2 students. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to talk about actions. So mainly, the topic today will be about gerunds and to-infinitives. If you have the book with you, please turn to page 31. And we also need your grammar book today. So if you have your grammar book with you, please turn to page 70, which is chapter 9, gerunds and to-infinitives. All right, now let's look at our book first. So this is page 31 of your book. Look at here. How to talk about actions in English. So in English, we can use gerunds or to-infinitives with verbs to talk about thoughts and also actions. All right. So you may have one question on your mind. What are gerunds and what are to-infinitives? In fact, we have learned this concept last term during the first term of your secondary 2. Do you still remember this table? This one. Gerunds and to-infinitives. I'm sure that your teacher asked you to remember or even to recite this table because this table is very useful. Let's have a quick recap of this table. There are 3 columns, so this is Appendix 5, page A10 of your book. So this table has 3 columns. For the first column, there are verbs that are followed by gerunds. In other words, it means that the verbs here must be followed by verb plus ing, but not to-infinitives. For example, we have admit, avoid, can't help, consider, delay, deny, etc. Remember, they must be followed by gerunds. So what about the column in the middle? They are verbs that are followed by to-infinitives. So in other words, after these verbs, we must have to and then another verb. Like here, we have agree. We say agree to do something, for example. Choose to do something. Decide to do something, but not decide doing something. Choose doing something, or agree doing something. So this is the major difference between verbs in the first column and also verbs in the second column here. So what about verbs in the last column? These are verbs which can be followed by either gerunds or to-infinitives. Both verb plus ing and to, and then a verb are fine. So the verbs here include advise, allow, begin, or etc. If you still don't understand what I'm talking about, it's fine, because I'm going to have a quick recap of this concept with you today. All right. Now let's look at your book again. Page 31. So look at here. Some verbs can be followed by, I just mentioned, there are 3 ways. The first way, only by a gerund. Here is an example. Have you ever considered, all right, look at the word considered here. So after considered, if you look at the table, if you look at the table on page A10, here, can you see the word consider here? Let me point it out for you. Consider. So it means that consider, this verb, must be followed by a gerund, verb plus ing. So in this example, on page 31, you can see that after considered, we have changing. The verb is change, change. Verb plus ing, the gerund form of change is changing, changing. So we have this sentence. Have you ever considered changing your hairstyle? Remember, as it states here, it can only be followed by a gerund, but not a to-infinitive. So can we say, have you ever considered to change your hairstyle? Can you use to change here? No, because we cannot use to infinitive. We can only use gerund here. All right. Let's look at another example, only by a to infinitive. White seems to suit you better than black. Look at this verb here, seems. So let's go to page 8. Oh, sorry, there's a technical problem. Sorry. Okay. Page 8, 10, seems. So let's see where seem is. Okay, look at the column in the middle. Can you see the word seem here? So this is our verb, which is followed by two infinitives. Let's go back to page 31. So we have the example and example here. White seems to suit you better than black. We will not say white seems suiting you better than black, because after seems, we have to use to infinitive but not gerund. All right. You have to recite these verbs. There is not an easy way to do this type of questions. You must remember the words in the table on page A10 if you want to do these questions about gerunds and to infinitives successfully. All right, so let's look at the third example. Kent started going or to go to the gym 3 times a week. Start. So let's see if we can find start in the first 2 columns on page A10. Can you find start here? No, we can't find. Where it's here, start. So this is our verb, which can be followed by either gerunds or to infinitives. So start and the verb plus ing, or start to and then a verb, both are fine. So this is why we have an example here. can't start going or to go to the gym 3 times a week. All right. So if you still don't understand, it's fine, because I'm going to go through the grammar book with you together. The grammar book has better explanations on this topic. All right, so I'll go through with you now. So page 70 of your grammar book, please turn to unit 9, page 70. All right, so let's look at the first one. Here, we can use gerunds as nouns. So remember, gerunds are nouns, 动名词, to talk about activities. So these are gerunds. So there should be no questions about that, because it's what you have learned when you are in Form 1 and in Form 2. So this is the first way of how we use gerund. Just a quick revision. The second way, we also use gerunds after prepositions and adjective preposition phrases. So it might be a little bit difficult for some of you, but it's quite easy. Just look at here. If you can identify the part of speech of this word here. So we have for, which is a PP. We have at here, which is another PP. So after a PP, after a preposition, we need a gerund. Can you give me some more examples of prepositions now? We have for, at, another, in, on, after, a lot. There are lots of prepositions. I'm sure you know many of them. All right. So these are the first two ways of the usage of gerunds in sentences. So here, look at 1.3. So the third way is the way that we are teaching you in this unit. We can use gerunds or to-infinitives after verb to talk about what we like, dislike, or want. Like here, verbs followed by gerunds, verbs followed by to-infinitives, and verbs followed by either gerunds or to-infinitive. So these are verbs here. After dislike or enjoy, we use gerunds. After hope, want, or wish, we use to-infinitives. All right. So look at point 2. So you have to remember these verbs, because after these verbs, we must use gerunds. They are always followed by gerunds, always. For example, admit. We have an example here. My brother has admitted breaking the window. Avoid, consider, deny, finish, imagine, keep, mind, miss, practice, suggest. All right. So the words that I just told you are verbs which are always followed by a gerund, verb plus ing. You can also find them in the first column in the table on page A10 of your book. So what about the verbs here? Agree, choose, design, learn, lead, offer, plan, promise, refuse, seem. They are verbs which are followed by to-infinitives, not a gerund. So you can see we have a lot of to here. To. We agreed to meet at 8 a.m. They chose to go to Sai Kung. What do you decide to do? I'm learning to play the piano. We need to know your address, etc. We use to after the verbs, but not verb plus ing, gerund. All right? So here comes some more challenging part. So for these verbs, for some practice students, so remember, for these verbs, they are followed by an object first, and then to infinitive. We have verbs like advise, allow, ask, enable, encourage, invite, persuade, remind, teach, tell, and warn. So what does it mean? It means that after this verb, for example, let's look at this sentence. Miss Learn encouraged me. Me here is an object. All right, the object of encourage. Encourage me to take part or to participate in the singing competition. You must have an object here because the verbs here are transitive, if you want to know the reason. All right? Without an object, the sentences that you create are ungrammatical. All right? 2.4. Some verbs can be followed by either gerunds or to infinitive with no difference in meaning. For example, begin, continue, or start. You can also find these types of verbs on page A10. Let me show you again. Page A10, the last column. Oops. Sorry, there is a problem here again. The last column here. Verbs that are followed by either gerunds or to infinitive here. All right, begin, continue, and then you can also see the verb start. So the verb start is here. All right, so if you want to form the negative form, it's easy. You put not before the to infinitive or the gerund. You before the verb plus ing or the to. Like here, that admitted not knocking the door when he left home. Or we have an example here. George promised not to be late for school again. Okay, the not here, not and not before ing, and also before to. All right. So if you still don't understand, please go back to the very beginning of this video. All right. So now we are going to have a look at this exercise. So on page 31, so you have to complete the following email with the correct form of verbs or gerunds or to infinitives. So in other words, you have to go to page A10. You have to always go to page A10 of your book to have a look at that table and to decide whether we have to use gerunds or infinitive after the verb. All right. So I will do the first paragraph with you as an example. So you have to do the remaining as your homework. And your teacher will check the answers with you after we have class at school again. Now let's look at the first one. So this is a letter. Dear Mrs. Cole, I've wanted to talk to you for a long time, but I don't know where to start. Why are we using to infinitive here? Can you see the word to? Because of the verb wanted here. Go to page 810. Have a look at the table there. Can you find the verb want? Yes, here, right? Want is here. So it must be followed by to infinitive. So this is why the answer is I wanted to talk, but not talking. Because the verb before talk is want. All right. Second question here. So let me give you a hint. We have to use decided here. So after decide, should we use a gerund or to infinitive? Look at this table. Where can you find decide? Here, right? Decide is here. It is always followed by a to infinitive. So go back to page 31. This question. So I decided what? I decided to write you an email. All right. Okay. So please finish this exercise. And also you can find, you may have learned that for this week's assignment, you also have to complete the grammar book. This grammar book, Unit 9, is uploaded to the e-class already. The number 6 assignment. And we also have a Kahoot quiz. And we also have a Kahoot quiz on gerunds and to infinitives for you. So this is the major topics of this week. Apart from this assignment, since the Easter holiday is coming, we also have prepared an Easter holiday assignment for you. So the submission deadline for all the assignments, including the assignments on gerunds and to infinitive, the Easter holiday assignment, and the Kahoot quiz. Don't forget the book report. The due date for all the assignments that I just mentioned is the 20th of April. All right, after the Easter holiday. So during the Easter holiday, if you come across any problems, any difficulties, any questions, you may always find me on the WeChat group. I will answer all your questions. All right. So this is the end for this week's video. Thanks for watching and see you after the Easter holiday. Goodbye.